Francis.
And I'm Sue.
And today we're going to talk about one of the times that God changed the course of our lives. This is Francis and Sue on 52. We have 6 children and 13 grandchildren. And at the time, we had 3 children with us in Mexico.
And who all was that?
One was Paul, who was 6 months old, Frank, who was about 6 years old, and Laura, who was about 7 years old. They and Sue were standing on the beach because I had decided to swim out and watch the oyster fishermen get the oysters off the rocks about 20 feet under the water. It was an absolutely beautiful day just north of Mazatlan, Mexico, and the ocean was like glass. And it was so interesting to see these fishermen working with these oysters, throwing the oysters into their boats, that I lost all track of the time and what was going on around me.
And the water was going down. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's quite right.
It's okay.
The water was going down because the tide was going out.
Yeah.
And what had happened?
And I could see the rocks coming up and the coral.
So the coral that had been under the water was being exposed because the tide was going out.
Tide was going out.
Got it.
And he was on the other side of the rocks. And I couldn't see how he could get in.
Yeah.
And so I'm out there, and when I swam out, I had 3 feet of water over that coral reef. And coming back in, I saw a coral reef a mile to my left and a mile to my right and a few openings, but I tried to swim to an opening that was on the right, but the water was coming out so fast I couldn't swim against it. So I got out of that one, swam to the other one, tried to swim against the current there. I couldn't swim against the current there either.
So you'd gotten yourself into quite a bit of trouble.
Yeah, I was basically helpless. I mean, there I am, I'm backed off, looking at these coral rocks with my wife and children on shore and miles of coral rocks north and, to the left and right of me.
So Mom, what were you doing on shore at that time?
We were praying for him.
Because you could see that he was in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was pretty desperate. And so after trying everything I could personally do myself, I simply said, Lord, I'm in trouble. That was all I said. And immediately the words came into my mind, swim to the coral rocks as fast as you can.
You must have thought that was absolutely the stupidest thing you had ever heard.
Actually, I didn't even think about it. I mean, if I had thought about it, I wouldn't have done it.
Because you knew that
I'd be shredded. I mean, because it's awful when you get coral cuts. They last forever, and it's awful. I mean, you get shredded, literally. Mm-hmm. And fortunately, I knew that I was in trouble. But when the words came, swim to the rocks as fast as you can, I didn't question it. Because my spirit told me that was a guidance from the Lord. And so I did it. I swam to those bare coral rocks as fast as I could.
In a glass top sea.
In a glass, calm sea.
Wow.
And what did you see?
Well, God can provide the answer, but we have... What?
Go ahead.
You're doing fine.
God can provide the answers, but we have to be willing to listen even when it seems like it's crazy.
And what was the answer?
Swim to the rocks.
And what did you then see?
Then I saw him go over the rocks, go over the coral.
Wow.
And
because there was one solitary large wave that as soon as the command was given, swim to the rocks as hard as I can, I started swimming to the rocks as hard as I can. Face mask and snorkel, flippers, just working as hard as I could to swim right to the rocks. And I didn't know there was a wave behind me. But the next thing I knew is I was body surfing over the coral reef. And I landed safely on the beach side.
Wow.
And all I can do is thank God for getting me out of a situation I was totally helpless in.
So you had gotten yourself into trouble and first tried to solve the problem yourself.
Yep.
And got nowhere.
There was nowhere to go.
So then you asked for help.
Yeah. But it wasn't any formal prayer. It was simply, Lord, I'm in trouble.
And then you had the smarts to do exactly what you were told.
Yeah, I think my guardian angel actually said, better start swimming, buddy. And
cool.
Yeah, so praise God. That's why we had some more kids.
Yeah. So you've had many experiences like this in your life.
Well, quite a few, yeah.
And I know you've written some of them down.
Yeah.
And I understand that you would like to share that with people. Some of those miraculous experiences.
So if you would like to, if you would like to hear more incidences where God has intervened in our lives, please ask us.
So email you at
Francis&Sue on 52@gmail.com.
Thank you so much for doing all of this. It's an incredible legacy you're creating here for your family. And I know that we all appreciate it.
And we appreciate you helping us with it, because Laura's the executive producer here.
I love you guys. Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.